think I'm on the right page. There we go. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. Oh, got a couple people on. Good morning. If you're watching, jump on and say hi. Let me know that you can hear me. Let's see here. Okay, so the lighting's good. Hi, Vesta. Hi, Linda. Good morning. Hi, Holly. Hi, Diane. Okay, so we're starting out this morning in this orientation. Hi, Lori. Hi, Linda. Sharon. We got a call early this morning that someone very close to us had passed away, and we haven't gotten hardly any sleep. And so I didn't want to miss the live. My husband felt it was important that I still do this. At this point, there's not much that we can do regarding the passing of our loved one. And really, this is going to make me be able to concentrate on something else and help get through this morning. So I just had a hard time like putting myself together to where you would see me face to face. So we're starting this way, and I know you'll understand. So yeah, hi Jasmine, hi Deborah, and oh, thank you for the hugs, Holly. Yeah, it's tough. Hi Marilyn. So a couple of let's talk about this special that Stampin' Up is offering in October, the 1st to the 31st. If you sign up with Stampin' Up, you've got two kit options. You can get $125 worth of product for $35. I know, stay in your chair. These are some awesome deals. I don't want you to fall out of your seat. $125 in product for $35, and that includes free shipping. Or you can get $189 in product for $99 and free shipping. This is a great special. You don't have to do a thing. Stampin' Up, what I love about Stampin' Up is they don't hold anybody's feet to the fire. They don't like get a hold of you, like excessively. You'll get a reminder or something, but you can, like, if there's product that you're wanting to add to your stash, inks, paper, things like that, this is a great time to sign up because you can get a lot for a little. So that's October 1st to the 31st. If you're thinking about it, like I said, you don't have to do it as a business. Stampin' Up knows there are a lot of hobby demos. They know that people sign up and drop off and sign up again. They're good with it. Stampin' Up is just a great company. So don't forget about that. And what was the other thing? Oh, card play. So my upline, if you didn't know already, is Karen Titus. And Karen had started an online retreat. Oh my gosh, I think we're on our 6th, if not 7th one. Because we do a retreat every time a catalog comes out featuring new product. So right now, if you early bird register, you'll get a PDF with 5 3D projects. That's like a bonus. But it's in November, but you can register now. I have shared a link on my Facebook page with a Google form that explains your options. All good card club members get a discount. It explains everything in the form. So check that out. We always have a lot of fun, and I learned so much from the other demonstrators who were part of the group. It's Holly, Karen, me, Barb and Julie. Barb and Julie are on the West Coast, and yeah, if you've never done it before, give it a whirl. You can do just the online version, or you can get a make and take packet with Stampin' Up product to make 8 of the featured Peaceful Garden cards that we've done. So check it out, okay? And I know since I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, you guys are ready to make a card. So my retreat went really, really well. We raised $700 for the animal shelter in Ottawa County. And we just had a really good time learning things from people who wanted to share a demo with us. And we had really good food. It was just a really nice time. So that went well. And maybe I need to do like a little impromptu live, and I can show you the card swap cards that we got and the little gifties that were made. Hi, Dawn. Oh, it's a beautiful day in central Wisconsin. That is wonderful. Hi, Eleanor in Connecticut. It's nice here, too. In all the crazy leading up to today, we had scheduled a tree service to take our spruce tree down from the front yard and just clean up neighbors' trees where their limbs were like ready to maybe a good ice storm would bring something down on our garage and what have you. Well, that wasn't supposed to be till October, and we got a call on Monday saying they were going to be here on Tuesday. So there was a lot of things in the garden I wanted to protect and get out, so we had all of that going on. So it's been wild this week, but I am so glad to be back with you. So let's look at the product that I am using to make today's mystery quilt card. So I'm using the Lights of Aurora 6x6 Designer Series paper. Am I the only one, or has anyone else looked at this paper and said, oh, it's really beautiful, but I just don't know how to use it? Well, that was me. And during the retreat, my friend Toni from Shaw's, Toni, if you're on here, please share a link to your Facebook page. She had used this paper in a demonstration that Mary did for us of a one-sheet wonder. And her cards were stunning. It was like the first cards I've seen with this designer series paper that actually made me want to use it. Okay, so as I was designing today's project and trying other designer series paper, none of them were just working for me the way I thought they would. And so I grabbed this. And oh my gosh, look at this. Is all, Toni, if you're watching, this is all the paper that I have left. I couldn't quit making these cards. And here's another thing, everybody. I'm going to show you an alternative with this card. Don't be like me. I kind of like, you know, just ignored the stamp set in these dies. Get the dies. They're in my cart right now. At least get the dies. And I'll show you why when I show you the alternative. I had to use another product, a retired product. But don't skip out on the dies. They're beautiful. And you can make silhouettes like this card here, or you can actually layer scenes. This looks like there's a lake here, and you're looking out over a cliff, and you've got your black spruce trees here, and the clouds and mountains and hills and stuff. So don't overlook the dies. You're going to wish that you had them especially if you're using this paper. Let's get started. Okay. Hi Diane. Hi Jill. It's overcast in Vicksburg. The sun's shining here. Hi Peg and Sandra. Helene. So let's talk about what I shared with you to prep for today. Okay, so we have a card base. 4¼ by 11 is what I had you do. And look what I pulled out. I pulled out a different size. So really quick, I am going to get out a sheet of Pool Party. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the scoring, because this will make 2 card bases and I only have to score once. So I'm going to score it at 5½. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it at 4¼ So that will give me my 2 top fold portrait cards. And oh darn, I'm going to have to make another one. That just breaks my heart, because I'm telling you, I love how these cards turned out. Okay, so we have our 4¼ by 11 piece. That's our card base, and I used Pool Party. And then we've got a 4 by 5¼ inch layer that we're going to put our Designer Series paper on. Okay, so that's like the background layer. And I chose this sheet out of the Designer Series paper to use. I love all the different colors, and notice the pillars. I'm one of those that you can use this paper in any orientation, but when I saw the Northern Lights and I saw that the pillars run like north and south, this is the orientation that I'm going to use. You could have cut this long ways and done a landscape card, but the pillars, if you want to be technical, like to run up and down. And if you look at the description that's in the mini catalog of the artist who designed this paper, it explains right here. It says, so this is the artist, if you can see. She used chalks, and it says, our artist hand-painted the Lights of Aurora paper using soft pastels. She painted lines of color and pushed the paint out with a foam block to create the effect of glowing northern lights sweeping across the sky. So she pushed the color out so that your pillars are going straight up and down. And she used soft pastels, not chalks. So I thought that was very interesting, and it kind of made me feel good that my overthinking was going in the right way. So this is 3 5/8 by 6. And we're gonna cut this down, but I just took a 3 5/8 by 6 piece of Designer Series paper. For the quilt block, you're gonna need a 2 3/4 inch frame or matte layer, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna build our quilt block on a 2½ inch square. And I've chosen basic black because of the night sky that goes with the Northern Lights. I wanted to keep that dark background. And then you're going to need 2 squares that have contrast. And I switched out one of mine. So these are 1 1/4 inch squares, and they have great contrast. This is the one that I shared. It's usable, but I decided to change it out at the last minute because when I was creating some examples for you, I liked this combination a lot better. The only other thing I didn't mention was, of course, you're going to need a card insert for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, that wasn't listed on the prep, but you're gonna, you need a card insert. So let's build our quilt block first. Okay, what we need to do, well, I've got the trimmer right here, is we're going to take these squares and we're going to cut 4 triangles out of this square. So our first cut, we've got our points in the track. We're going to cut it in half diagonally. So there's the first cut. Then we're going to turn them around so that the longest side is at the top. The peak of our triangle is in the track. And we're going to cut them again. This is how we're going to get 4 triangles out of 1 square. And you're going to do that to both of those squares of Designer Series paper. Okay, so we're just going to, I thought I could give you some homework, but I thought, no, this is going to go pretty quick. We can hang out and do this all together. Okay, so let's cut this one. And let's cut this one. Now let's put these triangles off to the side. Don't put your trimmer away too far out of reach because we're going to come back to it. But right now we're going to work on our quilt block. The one other thing that we need to do is to help guide us in the placement of the triangles. We're going to take this 2.5-inch block and we're going to draw a line horizontally and vertically in half at 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to move my square over to 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to bring in a ruler and a pencil, and I am going to, you know, I'm going to have to do this down here by me, you guys, but you need to have your 2.5-inch square. I just can't feel confident that I'm going to do this right, reaching so far away from myself. But I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so what I love about this Omni Grid ruler is see how clear it is. And this is a tool that I first learned of as being a sewer. What I love about it is it's see-through, and it's got your 1/4 inch, your 1/4 inch, your half, your 3/4, and your whole. But then it's also got your lines in between and even more in between. And you can line up all of these lines and help keep you straight. So if you're wanting to know what an 1/8 border is, you could use this and place it on the 1/8 inch, and you could, you know, create a nice even border. So I love the clear Omni Grid ruler because it's got so many markings on it. It is so easy to use, and you can see where you're going. Okay, so here's my square, and this is the basic. Oh no, this is the B side of the Designer Series paper. I used up all of it, I think. And so I had to resort to using basic black 2-tone cardstock or even basic black. But we've halved it in both directions. So we've got 4, it looks like a 4-patch, okay, 4 equal squares. Okay, now I'm going to set the trimmer aside just for a moment. Let's get that one out of the way. That's another card I got to make. I'm going to have to make 2 more. Bring in your triangles. And I'm going to get my glue ready. Was there any questions? Okay, it looks like Facebook is being nice to me and hasn't stalled. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Lori. Hey, Amanda. Amanda? It's early. She knows what I mean. Okay, so we're going to I'm going to work with the pool party triangles first. Once you see the design, you could use multiple pieces of Designer Series paper, but we're going to work with 2 colors to learn it. And I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Would that help you guys see the process a little bit better? And I just saw Betty's name pop up. Hey, Betty. Okay, so I am going to be working in this lower, no, it's going to sit on top of the line. So I'm working in this upper left hand quad here, and the longest side of my triangle is going to sit right on this line. Okay, so the very first thing is to put this triangle down. I'm going to just tilt my base so that I can see it better, the line better. I'm going to gently put that down, and I'm wanting my corner to come out to the side, because I'm going to be putting a lot of points here in the middle, and I don't want to crowd my middle. So I'm taking this point out to the edge. Now, so that I know where I'm going each and every time, I'm going to turn my block counterclockwise one turn. And I am going to put this next triangle in that exact same quad. I don't have to guess where it's going to go. We're just going to keep turning this block a quarter of a turn, and my hand is going to the exact same spot it was previously. I do have a PDF that will be ready to post as soon as I upload the video to YouTube, so that I can get that link and put it with the PDF. And in the PDF, I explain about turning your block counterclockwise so that your hand is going to the same spot each time. Okay, so here we've created this pinwheel. All right, now about this block, if there's any quilters watching, I saw the block on Pinterest. I tried my hardest to find who originated this block. All I could find were names of people who just kept continuing to share it. So I don't know who the designer is. I don't even know what the name of the block is. But what it reminds me of is, it reminds me of the Dutchman's puzzle. So the Dutchman's puzzle would be where you would take these triangles and you would fill in the open space, and your second color would be mimicking your very first one. Okay, but this isn't the Dutchman's puzzle. What they're doing is we're going to be layering these triangles on the ones that we've already put down. And it kind of reminds me of kind of like we're layering a friendship star, if you know what the friendship star is, on top of the pinwheel. So with your second color, these are we put these down horizontally. These triangles are going to be put down vertically. And this point, this long side here, is going to run through the middle of this horizontal triangle. You can mark it if you want. I eyeball it. So I'm going to lay this down. This side's going to run through that peak and should touch or almost touch the triangle that's already there. So see how it's running through vertically, and it's going to create a second pinwheel effect here in the center as we go around. So we're going to continue again working in just that one corner so that we don't get confused on where our triangles go. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And the important thing is just to make sure that you're straight. Okay? So that's what that triangle looks like. Now we're going to do a quarter of a turn. I'm sorry, I almost got out of camera here. So we're going to turn it counterclockwise. And again, I am going to go to that same corner and put the next one down. just trying to be straight. Okay. And then counterclockwise, one turn, and repeat. It's like rinse and repeat is the thing that always goes through my head. Okay, so this is going to go here. And one more. See how that inner pinwheel is developing? Whoops. You need to get down. And once we get this last square, or this last triangle in, I'll show you, if you're not familiar with the Friendship Star quilt block or pattern, I'll show you. These, I think this is Berry Burst. These Berry Burst triangles look like a friendship star. If you were to take away this background, it's what it reminds me of, is a friendship star. So that is the block. Again, I would love to give credit where credit is due. I cannot find whose block this is. So if you are a quilter and you have made this before, or you've seen it shared somewhere, please let us know, because I really would, in the PDF, like to give credit to who it should go to. Well, good morning, Julie. Hi, Carrie. Doris is in the house. Where is Doris? I see her name. People are saying hi. So hi, Wisconsin. All right. Hi, Mary. So that is our quilt block. And then what we're going to do is, this is all designer series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to layer it onto that 2 3/4 inch square, so that when I quilt it, hopefully it doesn't beat up my designer series paper too bad. It hasn't, but I'm going to give it a little bit more stability here. I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I am going to step away just for a moment to use the cut and emboss machine, and I am using the Timber embossing folder because I like the wood grain. It kind of, the direction that it's going, just kind of, to me, keeps that whole pillar thing going. You guys know I overthink. So I'm going to step away and I'm going to quilt this block using the Timber embossing folder. Okay, let's take it out of the folder. So I'm going to turn it so that I can see the wood grain going up and down. And it just has some movement to it. So that's how I'm going to put it down when I put the quilt block onto our card. Okay, now for this next part, I am going to go back out because I need to bring in the trimmer. We're going to cut our designer series paper. Okay, this next step has another possibility. Once you see it, we'll discuss what another alternative would be. Let's get all my notes out of the way. Set that aside. Bring in your trimmer. Bring in that 3 5/8 by 6 inch piece of designer series paper. We want to cut the 6 inch, the longest side, down to 5. So what I want to look at is, where do I want to take off the inch? I could take a little bit off of the bottom. I could take a little bit off the top. I am going to turn it to the long side, the 6 inch side, and I'm just going to cut it off from the bottom here. So I am going to cut off 1 inch. This could be used on the, well, no, it's a little short. It's not 4. This is going to be a scrap, okay? So now I have a 3 5/8 by 5. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper. I want my pillars in my Aurora to be pushing up. Okay, so I've got my pillars going the direction that I want. And I need to take 1.5 inches from one side. So I'm just going to slide this over to 1.5 inches. I'm going to slide it to the right. And I'm going to take a cut. Okay. Now, I want to set this aside in the order that I'm cutting because we're going to kind of put this puzzle back together. So there's the one side. Now, with this piece, I am going to turn it so that the longest side is horizontal. And I am going to cut this at 2 7/8. Okay, 2 7/8. And then I am going to put this back right where my colors are following along. And then this last piece is a 2-inch. So you're going to have a sliver of scrap that's going to get thrown away. And, whoops, I got to turn it this way. And I'm going to put it back together like so. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. This cut would make a would benefit well if you wanted to do a stack, slice, and shuffle. If you've got 3 pieces, you would take 3 different pieces of designer series paper, stack them, cut them all at the same time, and then shuffle the pieces so that you have one of each different designer series paper as your background if you were wanting to do something scrappy. Okay, so that's an alternative to this cut right here. You could easily turn this into a stack, slice, and shuffle. I'm going to bring in that 4 by 5 1/4 background, and we are going to adhere these to that piece. Now we're going to be leaving an even border around each piece of designer series paper. So the very first one that I put down, I'm looking for an even border on 3 sides. The outside, the right side, and the top and bottom. So just, do the best you can. And what's nice about having this black background is if I'm off a little bit, it kind of blends in. So I have a little grace there, right? Let's put this next piece down. And this 2 7/8 doesn't have to go at the top. Depending on the direction of your designer series paper and how you lay it out, this might end up on the bottom. You just have to play with it. Okay. And see, I have my pillars all reaching up. And then this one's going to go right down here. And we've got this really nice separation. And this is really good. The separation's really nice, especially if you're using 3 different pieces of designer series paper so that they don't all just bleed together. You can see distinctly that there are 3 different patterns. So, Kathy, you've never made the block? Google says barn quilt block. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay. So there's my background layer. Okay. Let's bring in our card base. And I'm going to fold it on that score line, and I'm going to square my corners, hold it get the trusty bone folder out and give that a crease. Nothing fancy to this card other than it's a top fold, if that's fancy. This is going to get glued right to the front. If you were using, okay, so let's just stop just a second. If you were using a die to create a silhouette, this is from the Frosted Forest dies. I was looking through my dies thinking, what do I have that I could make a silhouette of the land and that the northern lights were above it. So I found this one. And I would, I've got examples to show you, but I would cut this out of basic black. And I would, before I put this on, I would adhere that die cut to the bottom of my background here. So here it looks like this, the trees are silhouetted and the northern lights are dancing above it. Okay, so I've got examples to show you, but now would be the time to put a silhouette on here before you adhere it to the top. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you that the cards are beautiful with or without a silhouette die. Okay, so I've made some cards out of both, and I've used all 6 of the Aurora patterns. So I have those examples to show you. So now we have, and this, oh, the pool party on black. I mean, you can't go wrong with pool party in black. I'm going to go ahead and put my insert in while I'm thinking about it. Now, with your insert, if you were going to do any stamping, make sure that you do that before you glue this down. I never really know exactly what my cards, what purpose they're going to have. So I tend not to do any stamping. Let's get the cards made, put them in your stash so that when you need to grab one, you're ready. And then all you have to worry about is, okay, what sentiment am I going to stamp? And if you goof, you can always stamp it on an extra piece of, like a scrap, punch it out and put it right over the top of your oops, and you're good to go. Okay, so there's our card. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to flip it over. I've got my button looking at me here, so I'm just going to get my button out of the way. Always, always, always sign your work. Okay, and now we'll put it back. Now for my quilt block, what I'm going to do is I am going to find where I want this on the front. Okay, and I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals. If I could find my black dimensionals, that's what I would be using. But they're here somewhere. I just don't know where. So I'm going to use the white. Let's take these backs off. Okay. And, okay, I got to bring it to me. Sorry, you guys. I wanted to kind of overlap my my 3 pieces here, but I don't want it like all the way down to the bottom, especially if I was going to put a silhouette. So I'm just going to get it to where it kind of just starts to take, cover that lower corner there. Oh, it's a little crooked. Not too bad. So there's the quilt block. And then I'm going to use the frosted iridescent dots. And this is part of that suite. And being that I'm putting it on black, it's going to be hard to get these colors, like some of them to really show up. So I'm just going to play it safe And I'm going to go with these more clear dots. And oh, where'd you go? Hey, no, not on my finger. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put one right in the center of my pinwheel. That inner pinwheel, I'm going to put one. And then I want something going on in this corner. I am going to do the odd number of 5. So I'm going to put a large and a small one there. And then a couple more small ones up in the sky to kind of like capture maybe little stars. Let's put one there. Maybe put one over here. So there's plenty of room here if you wanted to put a sentiment. Again, that space may be taken with a silhouette die. So, I mean, you've got lots of options. But that is our quilt card for today, using a designer series paper that was very challenging to me. I did not know if, you know, I had the paper and I'm like, am I ever going to use it? It's just like, it stumps me how to use it. And Carrie, the button that I used was designed by a friend of mine, probably done in Word. So if you know how to use Word and create, you know, and then I use a punch, a scalloped punch to punch them out. I don't know how to do that. I was blessed with a friend who sent me the PDF, and now when I need sheets of them, I print them out and punch my name out, and then layer it onto another scalloped punch that's just a little bit bigger. So this is one of the cards. Okay, let me show you what I mean about the silhouette. Do you see how the trees are down here in this corner, and the northern lights are dancing behind it? There's another one I did. I think this is probably my favorite because of how the silhouette shows up on that pool party. Here I took a 1 1/4 inch square that had a little bit of the gorgeous grape and like petunia pop, berry burst colors in it, and put it with the pool party behind it. This one here is just your blues and purples with berry burst. And I think I got one more. Yeah, here's one more. How did the peppermints get in here? Here's one more with the silhouette die. But can you see how different and pretty they look with that silhouette? That's why I wanted to mention, don't skimp on the dies. They're in my cart. I'm going to be getting them. Yes, I have other dies to use, but I want the Aurora dies. So I'm going to have to put in another order. So those are 3 that have the landscape silhouette. Okay. And then here are 3 that don't have silhouettes, but you can still see that the northern lights, and this is the one that we just did, which is the same paper as this one here. But you can see that the northern lights are still dancing behind the quilt block, and these could be just like little stars in the sky. Okay, so that is today's mystery quilt block. Please share your quilt blocks over in our private group called Quilt Cards and More. It's where we do all our sharing. It's where you'll find the PDF when it posts later. I can't tell you exactly when today it'll post. There's a lot of phone calls going on, and so I do have the PDF ready. It just needs to be uploaded to YouTube. And once I get that YouTube link, I like to put that in the PDF so that if you want to click on it and catch the replay that way. Because remember, Facebook only lets our lives stay on our page for 30 days and then they go away. So by uploading them to YouTube, you can go back for now, forever, and watch the replay and craft along with me. Have your PDF beside you, watch me doing it, and you can put yours together that way. Let's give away some of these cards. In the comments, just type Northern Lights if you would like to win a card. I can't quit making this block, and I love this paper now. That's why I've got 6 cards, and I've got 2 card bases here. I could do your standard A2 card and another top fold. So I get the joy of making 2 more Aurora cards. And yeah, so that means I'll have 8 cards. I would love to see what this looks like using different designer series paper. What if you did the stack, slice, and shuffle? There are so many ways that this can go. And I love being surprised by your interpretations when you share. So do that for me. Remember, early bird registration for our card play fall retreat. That ends at the end of day Saturday, the 27th, for the early bird. And then you can register up until probably even the beginning of the 3rd week of October. If you want to make and take kit, it'll still reach you in time. Tuesday, next Tuesday, is the September Barn Quilt Kit Together. I think you're really going to love October's 2 blocks. I was having a lot of fun designing them. And I think that's all I've got. Remember the Join Special happening October 1st through the 31st. Great way to add to your stash and not be obligated to anything. Okay? Everybody have a blessed day. Thank you for keeping our family in your thoughts and prayers. This is a tough time right now, and today's going to be one of those days busy with staying in touch long distance with phone calls and things like that. We'd appreciate any thoughts and prayers that you could throw our way. I will be checking to see what you did with this block a little later. And everybody just have a really blessed day. And I'll catch you over in the group. Okay. We will talk to you later.